is going to be on the blue side. Oh, okay. So we actually heard wrong from production, and this is what we expected a lot more, just because there's so many power picks on the blue side right now. In Kaisa, Samira, Olaf, all of those champions are considered, you know, kind of, you lock them in, and they sort of build their own compositions out of that point. So they are going to force OMG onto the red side. And let's be honest, teams that have weaker players typically cannot utilize red side as much. The counter picks don't really matter that much when your players, you know, are on a lower level compared to their opposition. So I like this drafting strategy coming out from BLG.
Yep, you go ahead and you say, look, we recognize that we can just blind pick some power picks here. We force you to ban a load of different options against us. You're guaranteed to leave something open for us. They lock in the Kaiser. They've banned away the Aphelios, the Olaf, the Renekton, the Twist of Fate, the Pantheon, and the Camille. And we actually see the Rel and the Udyr picked up here for OMG. Not giving over Udyr to Meteor this time around, who's going to be looking towards something maybe a little bit different. The one thing I was just about to mention is Wuming's Zoe was not banned, and they have the option to take it away from him if they so choose.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great idea. Wuming's Zoe in the previous split had a 5.6 KDA, and it was his highest win rate champion by far. I think it was like 70% win rate. So this split, no one is giving Wuming his best champion. I like this from BLG. They have a pretty strong early game core. A lot of matchups go Zoe's way, at least in the early game, even with Redemption removed. And Zoe Graves is just a really strong priority mid-jungle sort of combination. On the other hand, OMG are going to be picking up the pace. This is pretty interesting. We don't typically see OMG index into the early game, but now they've been put on the red side with counter picks. They are looking to make a killing blow pre-15 minutes. Samira's locked in, Udyr's locked in. These are champions, if they get ahead, they're super obnoxious, but if they fall behind, you don't really feel their presence in teamfights.
And this is what I was going to say. I want to see BLG ban away mid laners, and I want to see OMG ban away supports. OMG ban away the Alistar, so we're already off to a fantastic start. You know where you want to try and put the pressure in. Now, Zeka wants to put the pressure onto Wuming. He's going to ban away the Azir. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Syndra or maybe the Orianna banned away as a last one there. Possibly the Syndra. You can give away the Orianna just because it's a not as powerful pick to 1v1 you in that lane, but right now OMG, the Leona is still available to ban. The Thresh, if you really wanted to try and get away some of the more defensive champions, there's a lot of options here they can ban away and try and set up this bot lane for success.
And we have seen a lot of teams actually go for the Orianna combo with both Rel and Udyr. It's not my favorite combo, to be absolutely honest, but it is one that a lot of LPL teams do gravitate towards. It's very easy to set up with the Rel and the Crashdown and the Magnetic Storm. It really works quite well. So, yep, BLG are going to take that one away. No surprises here. And like you mentioned, I think Syndra is probably on the cards right here. Does have a decent matchup against the Zoe. Technically is a, counter pick. Other options that we might be seeing is that I actually don't mind something like a Renekton here. It's an AD and AP combination with the Udyr, and it just gives you such a strong early game. They're not going to go for that one. They're just going to go for the Galio instead. A little bit more protective, but the thing about OMG's composition right now is they don't really have anyone for the Galio to actually follow up on. They don't really have any gap closers for that one to really work out. So a bit of a weird pick here. And on BLG's side, I just think that they're going to index into more pick potential. They already have Zoe with that long-ranged Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Leona's going to fit that role pretty well. I actually do prefer the Leona a little bit more here. But let's see what they do. Well, and the Gragas can kind of do the same thing.
You get the level 1 with... Yeah, you get the level 2 with the set as well, so you can kind of go in very, very aggressively, try and take down the Rel or the Samira. Those do very similar things, but they listen to you. They heard you and your criticism, Clement.
It's a lot easier to follow up with Solar Flare onto a Sleepy Trouble Bubble than it is for Set to actually find the target. So I actually do prefer the Leona for the pick potential a little bit more here. And they also have the Gragas, which is another great pick tool. This is a composition that can blow apart OMG's composition. They can find a very easy entrance kill. If you throw the explosive cast, you follow up with the Killer Instinct, you get a 5v4 almost straight off the bat, and then you just snowball the team fight from there.
Well, the last pick for OMG as well was the Aatrox. We are going to be seeing an Aatrox versus Gragas. Gragas seen as the ultimate nullifier of any kind of early bullies. Not really going to be dying, or rather shouldn't be dying in any kind of 1v1 or 1v2 situation. Very, very safe. And for OMG, it's going to be very difficult to get this Galio into this fight. They're going to need a lot of very good positioning and flanking here coming out from Nu to really make this Galio combination work, because we talked about this in the game one. The big thing we talk about all the time when we see Galio is, do you have a sustained, you know, kind of a similar amount of magic damage to make up for his lack of magic damage? And two, do you have a dive buddy to set him up for his hero's entrance? Right now, I don't really see either.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I feel like Udyr plus Galio is kind of an awkward combination. They don't really roam well together, and they have the same weaknesses in the fact that it's very difficult for them to engage in the first place. So I think we're gonna see we're gonna see Wuming pretty much just left alone in lane until level 6, and most of the ganks should probably be heading towards the bot lane. Meteor, Aki, excuse me, coming in with that stun and linking up with Cold could make life very, very difficult for BLG. And let's be honest, I don't think Jwei had a very good game in the laning phase on his Leona. So maybe that's the point that OMG will be looking to exploit here.
All right, we are on to the Rift for the third and final time of this series. Both teams will be going off for a well-deserved break after this game. We see now which one will be going home with a smile on their face and which one will be going home with their coach with a ruler in hand. Did you ever have that in your school? The teacher with the ruler?
Oh, yes. In Asian schools, corporal punishment was definitely a thing. I used to swear a lot, and I used to see the bamboo stick a lot, too.
Oh, you had a bamboo stick?
Yeah, we had bamboo sticks. They would break them off brooms.
Yeah. In Ireland, we had the Meteor stick, and that was what we had. Before my time, bear in mind. That was well before my time, but... I think it was I think as I was born in 1993 is when corporal punishment became not okay in Ireland. So you know, lucky for me.
I will say
I brought
it's
in
still
change.
okay in Taipei. So just throwing that out there. If you ever wonder what life is
okay.
in for pupils in Asia, that's what it's like.
Yeah. Well, we'll see who will be feeling a little bit better about their chances coming into this game as the early game does start off. Like this from BLG, they did get the early sweeper, so they could stop that early vision control from the side of OMG. OMG as well with the early sweeper on top. They actually have two early sweepers on the side of BLG, so really trying to deny as much vision as possible to try and keep this Graves' path as secret as possible. And already we're seeing it engage in the spot side. Cold is there. We'll get the knockback, force the flash away. Eric in a little bit of trouble though, might have overextended. He's forced to cleanse. So, summoner for summoner at the moment. They will get another Shield of Daybreak as they jump straight back in. There's the cleanse, but it's a knockup. They keep going. It's 1v1, v1v1. They're trying to still go for it. All summoners being burned, but Jwei is here. He's got another Shield of Daybreak, but now he has to back away. He's going to force his flash away. He gets first blooded, but here's Meteor. Can he clean up house? They get Eric jumping in. He's got one more auto attack, and he gets it. They get double kill, but they trade it back to Meteor. What is happening in this bot lane?
I think BLG were continuing to try and bait because their jungler was very close. If you saw Meteor's pathing, he went straight red into his own Krugs. So BLG kind of overplayed their hands, and the communication was a little bit lacking right there because we actually saw Meteor walk back to his Krugs during that fight. He was like, okay, this is over. Wait a minute, you guys are still going? What's happening? And they actually give over the double kill to Samira. That's the worst possible start you could ask for on BLG.
That is a Vamp Scepter straight away. We're at 3 minutes in the game. The sustain you now have with this Samira is insane. Let's say this one. This was just Jwei and Cold just saying, no, I refuse. I refuse to give up pressure right now. And they all just go in. Yeah,
they get the flash very early from Amy. And watch Meteor right here. He actually walks back. He thinks that, okay, this fight is over. But then he turns around and Cold still goes back in. I just can't believe how low that cooldown actually is on the crash down and mount up here. So in a 3v2 situation, OMG come out with 2 kills on the most important carry of the game. A massive win for them.
No summoners in this bot side, and while we were in that replay, we actually see both flashes being burned by Biubiu and Nu. This is an aggressive early start for Meteor. He's actually not even farming that fast either. He's just going straight for ganks, trying to create pressure, trying to make it so that Aki just has no real way of gaining advantage in these lanes. Purely from his farming is what he's going to get.
And this is going to be really terrifying for BLG's bottom lane. How do they actually play this out? They have no summoners, as you mentioned. And you can see OMG right now, they are controlling the wave. This is pushing into them. They don't have to do anything. It is going to come down to Meteor to try and help his bottom lane, or else they're not going to even be able to farm.
Oh, this is going from bad to worse. And you can see Aki on the minimap just pathing down. His camps are respawning on that blue side because, again, he's just farming an absolute storm. So he's able to make this happen for him and his team. Very, very dangerous times here for the bot lane of BLG. They need to be so, so careful.
They definitely have to. And I just want to see how Meteor is actually going to try and help his bottom lane in this one. We do see a little bit of action in the mid lane, but just the top lane gank being replayed right here. A very early preemptive flash. Preserving his HP totals upcoming from New. And a good play overall. It's just the key question here is, can BLG actually reset this wave? This is just so painful for them.
They have Graves towards the spot side, but you can see Aki again pathing down, recognizing that if he's gonna see anybody bot side, it's gonna be the Graves. He's running in there with the bear stance. No vision on top of him just yet, and they'll jump in straight away, aiming, trying to kite this one away. Jwei just puts down the shield of Daybreak, but they will gift another kill to Eric. This bot lane is just exploding for OMG, and they are loving every moment.
Yeah, that was just way too easy of a setup. Meteor basically says, you know what, I can't continue to invest in the sinking ship. He doesn't actually pay a visit down there. His bot lane can't get the wave unfreezed in time. And this is going to lead to the first objective for OMG. Now, whenever you see a Samira, the game is all about her. And I think we're going to see at this speed, this is going to be a 10-minute Immortal Shield Bolt coming out.
That is a terrifying prospect to think about, considering you're a Leona. You want to be on top of people, and they're going to go for the TP down at bot side. Aiming will get away from Cold, but they're going to have to give up Jwei a straight away. They are tanking this one pretty well, taking a very, very long time, but they will end up gifting a 4th kill to OMG's Eric. He is a monster. They're losing not only that, but they're also gaining turret plates. They're also denying XP and farm here from aiming. This bot lane is going from bad to worse for BLG, but if you're an OMG fan, you're elated. This is amazing.
OMG might finally find themselves a win. I don't want to jinx it too early, but I want to set out the stakes. If they win here, they will cease to be the only LPL team without a match victory. This is going to be huge for their morale. It's going to allow them to rest easy during that New Year's break when they all go home and think about what they can improve on. So, you know, this is huge. I honestly think that if OMG can take a win today, they will be able to pick themselves up by the bootstraps and find a couple more wins when they finally do come back after the end of the year. However, if they fall down to 0-7 and they don't get anything going, I think their split's pretty much done for.
Honestly, this feels like a tilter. I don't like using that term very often because these guys are professionals, but you are so far ahead. You are a high noon quiver, the makings of an Immortal Shield Bow versus a Doran's Blade and some brown sacks on the feet of aiming. You have no excuse to not be taking this game by the horns and absolutely running away with it. But, and we always have to say but, Zeka on Zoe creates chaos. A trouble bubble lands. That without a cleanse, Eric is dead to rights. No matter how fed he is still going to die to a trouble bubble with a paddle star combined into it. It is so difficult to try and just navigate these fights perfectly that I'm going to be very, very, very curious and keeping my big eye on. Oh, as I say that though, we're going to see Cold getting jumped on, gets the remount. They're going to jump straight on top of him. There is a red buff and a flash bird. They have got a lot of CC to be able to put down onto Cold. They get the double knock up, and there's a 5th kill. This could be a 6th kill coming in. They TP again. Eric going in for it. They will donate some of his vast amounts of gold to the Aatrox who TP'd in. OMG will not allow this bot lane to fail.
The rich get richer in the LPL, and we just saw Eric get another kill. He held onto his flash. He knew he had his summoner's advantage, and Rel was soaking up so much of the damage coming out from Meteor. That shotgun not able to put pellets behind the horsey and actually hit Samira. So they lose out on that trade massively, and we are going to see OMG try to accelerate the game even further by bringing in their bot lane for Herald.
Yeah, we see Zeka popping over with the portal jump, seeing if he can catch anybody out. They now have a pretty good idea that someone is in that bush. It is an 8-minute Immortal Shield Bow. Trouble Bubble lands. Not going to land the Xenoblade after that, as the Rift Herald seems to be the call from both of these teams.
Well, I think the key for BLG, there is going to be a time in a skirmish. It's going to be about Blade Whirl versus the Explosive Cask. if Eric doesn't actually manage to block out the cast, then I think it's still somewhat possible for BLG to find a snipe onto him. They can definitely put plasma stacks on him, killer instinct in, and just blow him up with collateral damage. That's going to be on the cards, but it's very difficult to execute, and we're going to see if BLG can actually pull it off or not.
All it takes is one Trouble Bubble, one Paddle Star. There's Rift Herald going down. They flash in. There's the hero's entrance. Explosive cast used to separate everybody. Jwei still not level 6. Gets stunned up at the Shield of Duran. They get a steal. He picked up a smite. They're able to get it away. And and Biubiu just walks in, gets his body slam away. They're trying to make this fight work. There's the Infernal Trigger, but is immediately stopped out. Jwei will gladly give his life over to the greater good of his team. And BLG, they make something out of nothing right there.
Very solid win for them. They don't get the shutdown gold, but we could see the makings of that combination starting to form in BLG's head. Like, if that explosive cast was able to actually knock Eric forward, there was a chance where they could just blow him up. But honestly, this game is still all going to be about that Samira, and if they can find that kill, OMG might overextend into a 3v2.
Oh, they did not see them coming in right now, and that is going to be Meteor going down. Cold will be the recipient of that gold. But now, with teleports available, they are going to try and commit onto this. They see this. Eric has very little mana. Eric still has Flash and Cleanse. Very important to recognize that. He does not have the Inferno Trigger just yet, and he will be bopped back just a little bit. He tries to get himself out of here with the Killer Instinct jumping straight back on top of him. He's ticking down, but they're not able to kill him off. He has got the Immortal Shield Bow to keep him alive. They eventually take him down. It's Zeka who picks up that kill. That is a huge swing of gold, and what was a 2,500 gold lead is now only 1,000.
Raid boss down for OMG. They definitely overextended a little bit for that kill. No mana left. Had to burn both summoners to get out. And, you know, Eric was honestly staying around a little bit too long. Puts himself in range of Zeka's minor bubbles on his W and gets sniped outright there. So, huge win for BLG. And honestly, like, with them still having the, I believe they still have the Herald somewhere. So they could definitely claw themselves. They used it bot
side.
Oh, they already used it bot side for the tower plating. So they could definitely see themselves just repeating that combination over again, having Biubiu flank the Samira, and just making sure that she's the first one out of the team fight.
Well, Dragon does go over to the side of OMG. They've now got themselves 2 dragons stacked, an Ocean and a Mountain, with an Infernal Soul coming up. TP was used up on top side there by Zeka, but good awareness by Nu to make sure he was not caught out by that. But now Biubiu is here. He has no TP of his own. This is a little bit of an interesting play, to say the least. Zenithblade will get blocked. They all back away. Still no level 6 here for Jwei. He is 2 levels behind his opposition number. It's just becoming very difficult for him to do anything. They drop down a ward. They recognize he's there. He now backs himself away. Good respect here from OMG, not letting anyone kind of catch them out again.
And Zeka is going to continue having a good time against Wuming. Like we were mentioning, Wuming doesn't really get to play the game much at all. And I feel like this Udyr is actually starting to fall off. At this point, we see Meteor already 20 CS above the Udyr. So I think what OMG want to do is they want to continue to funnel into this bot lane. Like, the Samira is still incredibly powerful, and I would actually be willing to give up, like, towers on the map or turret plating on the map just to continue to further that bot lane. Like, if Zeka gets 2 plating mid, but I send Wuming down for a double kill, that's definitely worth it for OMG. That's 100% worth for OMG. So I want to see if they can pull that play out. You know, maybe have the Udyr just kind of babysit the mid lane and have Wuming roaming around, because I don't think this Galio is getting enough action.
I feel like Aliealie been a little bit silent, I think it would be the word I would use, particularly in this game. You see Eric not having his support there, just backing himself away. And right now, BLG, they're putting pressure down. It is still only a 1,500 gold lead, not even a 1,500 gold lead in their favor. Despite, yes, 6 kills on the Samira is absolutely massive, but I keep stipulating this because I think I have to. 1 explosive cast, 1 Trouble Bubble can literally take all of that advantage and more away from OMG. They need to be so careful of how they take these fights. Cold, gonna see if he can stop the recall. He cannot. Meteor gets back without any real problems there. They are going to be able to take down this bot lane turret pretty soon. They should be able to get it maybe on the next wave. And this is where the next kind of 3 or 4 minutes are going to be a bit slow, pretty much until this next Infernal Drake spawns.
We do have Wuming rotating in a lot earlier than the rest of the members. I'm not sure if BLG have actually spotted this one out. They're going in.
They are going to go straight for it. And there's the Galio play you wanted, the double kill you talked about. And that's exactly what they want. They don't quite get it on top of Eric, but they get 2 kills regardless. 4 members into the bot side. They get 2 kills. The rest of BLG are not in position to capitalize. So OMG taking more and more advantages.
I love this play from OMG. It was actually really well timed out. They wait until post 14 minutes, so there's no turret plating for Zeka to take. And also, when aiming was coming into that, his mentality definitely was, I want to fight this out, because that was the one time in the game where he was actually on even footing in terms of items with Eric. They both had 1 mythic completed, so they kind of read what aiming was going to do. They knew that the Kaisa was going to stand his ground, and they used that mentality to completely flip it on its head. Like, this is super worth it. Even if you lose tower damage on the mid lane, it's totally great to go for these double kills and just make sure that the lead is completely cemented on Eric.
Only real positive I could probably say for the side of BLG aiming there is that he did not expend any of his summoners. He recognized that he was dead to rights, so he just left himself to die. He's 0-2, his support is 0-7. 9 of the 11 kills are in this bot lane, so they're not really worth a lot of gold. Being totally honest and fair here, you can see OMG now moving towards this top side. They will pick themselves up their 2nd turret of the game, while the bot side is going to be traded back. They're still ahead in this game by about 3,000 gold. Still very, very favorable for OMG. They just need to keep the Samira safe. It is a protect the Samira composition, and it works with a protect the Samira competition because she can go in with how far ahead she is with the Inferno trigger, and then the Wuming, Cold, Aki, they can follow up afterwards.
And the very scary thing for this composition as well is that they actually have a Dragon Soul timer at 21 minutes. That's incredibly early in the game for that to happen. So what it essentially means is that BLG isn't going to be able to reach item parity before they have to fight a decisive team fight coming into this one. Honestly, if Meteor isn't able to steal one of these Drakes away, I feel like OMG could just shut this game clean out by the 25-minute mark, and they're already grouping for this 3rd Drake.
Ooh, gotta be careful though. Zeka's poke is very real. They don't want to go for the fight though just yet. They want to try and see if they can get a pick off straight away. The solar flare goes down. That's a big shutdown there onto Cold. Now Eric's all alone in the back line. Just try and get on top of Meteor. The killer instinct goes down, but you haven't really got the damage right now. You can't take that fight. It's all on Zeka. Zeka needs to be able to keep this fight going for his team. 2 kills to Eric. He's just too far ahead. OMG, they are still here. Trouble Bubble does land. Jwei is there with the Zenith Blade. Does land the Shielded Braid Break as well. The Shield Duran putting down. It's a lot of damage here onto the big tanky boys. They do land another Paddle Star. There's still a lot of mana onto Zeka. They have got the Trouble Bubble. It's Eric versus Zeka. That is what this game is. This is what these fights are. And they see if they could go for this dragon. It will be onto Meteor. He's 2 levels ahead of Aki. That is incredibly important to recognize right now because he's going to be the guy who's going to try and steal this one. Don't think he's going to go for it just yet. They're going to give over Soul Point. They haven't got the numbers or the vision, and they will get themselves ahead in this game. OMG, little bit dicey. They get what they wanted though, and they get themselves onto Soul Point.
They lose the first member in the team fight, and honestly, Eric's initial play got me really, really worried because he was going to the back line 1v3. However, he's just so far ahead that he's actually able to survive through all of that. OMG do still pick up the Drake in the very end, and Meteor without his flash isn't able to contest that one. So the timer still stands. We're going to see a very explosive team fight coming into the 20-minute mark with an extremely fed Samira still on the board. So, you know, things continue to look better for OMG.
I let's see how this fight goes as well. It starts off with Cold looking for a pick, and he just kind of overcommits just a little bit, so they end up just getting a little bit too far ahead of
and this is where I think things got really, really dicey, where you saw Eric actually pop his ultimate going into the backline, but the collateral damage doesn't actually land. Eric is able to dodge out of that one, and Biubiu's ultimate is a little bit too late too. It doesn't really find Samira, Biubiu's stun and his ultimate don't really connect onto Samira either, so it was pretty dicey for Eric, but unfortunately BLG are not able to punish him.
I want to get your opinion as well. Looking down the items, we can see a couple of things being picked up here, but one thing that we've seen happen a little bit more often is we are seeing the Galio move towards a Night Harvester rather than the Proto Belt. As we see the Rift Trail being popped down into the mid lane, shouldn't be too hard for the side of OMG to take this turret, but I wanted to get your opinion as to why we're seeing this adaptation in the build from someone who's generally seen as a teamfight enabler rather than a damage dealer.
Yeah, so I think it's about the chase down potential that you have in skirmishes. So if you land the Winds of War, it actually gives you the movement speed buff, so you can continue to chase onto extra targets. And it does give you a little bit more sustained presence in team fights over something like the Rocket Belt. I still feel like the Rocket Belt might be... It has a little bit more surprise factor, let's put it that way. But if you think about the trade patterns for Galio in Teamfight, he lands the Winds of War and then he pops the taunt and is able to walk forward with the taunt. I think that's the kind of chain that you're looking for, instead of just popping your Rocket Belt and then using the taunt for catches. So I think overall the Night Harvester probably a little bit better in large teamfight scenarios, where I think you will still see most people go for Rocket Belt if they're playing more towards catch.
Ooh, off spawn, they go for the Baron. They have got a decent amount of damage and they can tank it up fairly well. There is the Scryer's Bloom there, just able to catch them out. I like the idea from OMG. You expend very little and there's very little risk once you're caught out. You can back away. So honestly, not a bad call.
Yep, they don't get punished at all for it. And right now I think OMG are just going to play pretty slow. They're actually not in that huge of a gold lead. All of the gold is concentrated on one single person on this Samira, that 3k gold lead. So I don't actually see them trying to make a lot of plays onto the side lanes either. It's probably just going to be farm for the next 2 minutes and then just head for Drake.
Big item here for Zeka. I really like this, the Horizon Focus. If he lands a Paddle Star onto somebody, that is just going to melt a health bar, because there's not really any magic resistance whatsoever, apart from a couple of Merc Treads here or there. That is a big skill shot that you need to be dodging, especially if you're Eric or Wuming, because you will just be melted.
Yeah, Zeka's current build, he's running, he's already got 24 Magic Pen on his build, so if he does find the Samira with a full range Q, he can still turn this team fight quite easily. I think the usage for Blade World is going to be incredibly important. What BLG need to do is that they need to force the Blade World out and probably use the Explosive Cask as the finisher. That's still the most important ultimate in my eyes, but if they can force Eric to use his critical W ability early, then that's going to be much more easier on the execution. Now, OMG know what's at hand here. They know what's at stake, and they're actually setting up very early for their Drake. I don't feel like OMG has ever set up for a Drake this early in the game that we've seen so far, but they know what's on the stake. It's about their pride and their first win on the horizon for them.
Very important time. It's 2,500 gold lead. Infernal Soul Point is 30 seconds away. You just got to be careful of the Trouble Bubbles. You got to be careful of the Paddle Stars. He has picked up an Ignite for Zeka, so he can put down a little bit of poke as well. Mid lane is going to be pushed out by both sides. You can see New on the flank. Think they might have saw him there. Yep, they know exactly where he is, so they can try and back themselves away. They jump straight in, though. The Magnet Field lands on the 3. The Solar Flare, though, jumps straight back on top of them, and they're able to keep Meteor alive. They do lose their support. Exhaust down onto Biubiu. They still have their jungler. That is key to try and get this jungle fight, because there's still a level advantage here for Meteor. You can see Biubiu just trying to keep himself alive, trying to keep them interested. They're going into the Baron Pit now, or the Dragon Pit. I think it's too little too late. They're going to try and hope that Zeka gets with the Paddle Star. They block him out, and they're able to get Infernal Soul. That's even more damage for this OMG lineup. Anew, the raid boss that is Aatrox with no healing reduction, is going to be able to run these guys down. They're trying to chase them off. They won't be able to get any more kills, but when they got what they came for, now they can turn to Baron.
That was just disgusting coming in from Cold and Wuming. That Magnet Storm into Hero's Entrance combo decimated BLG before they even got a chance to really start the team fight. I just love what New did right there, popping over the Dragon Wall, flanking BLG. BLG got caught between pushing mid out and holding their position on the ramp in that Dragon area, and they get punished big time for that. They were scattered. They didn't have enough focus potential onto Samira. Eric was completely untouched throughout that fight, and let's just watch this flank again. We can see Cold, he flashes, comes over, crash down, Magnetic Storm, Hero's Entrance, just blows BLG's team composition right before they have any chance to do anything. And Biubiu, even though he does get the Explosive Cast like we were talking about onto Eric, there's no one close to him anymore. There's no follow-up to salvage the situation, and OMG just find the first punch to close out the deal.
You know what the scary thing is? They got the perfect team fight. Oh, I'm going to stop myself just there. They have found Jwei. You just get the shield of Duran. They jump straight in on top of Meteor. Aiming is still being untouched, though, in this fight. Meteor does fall. Now they look to try and take out the support. It's 2 kills to the Samira. There's just not enough damage. There's not enough chase potential here for OMG. They find themselves another pick. They can turn to Baron. They know there's no steal potential.
Yeah, it's just so hard for BLG right now. There's only one source. There's actually 2 sources of grievous wounds on their team, but I think they're gonna have a lot of difficulty actually applying it to Eric. Can they find a steal here? Is gonna be the big question.
The big question, but there's also a lot of damage here, and it takes a long time for them to get the steal onto this, or get the damage down onto the Baron. Zeka going in with the paddle star, not able to get it, had the smite, had to use it. I like the idea from BLG. They will sacrifice Biubiu to the Blood Gods. As OMG just chase him down, all he can really do right now is just delay, keep them from using this Baron buff for as long as possible. The Baron buff down, the Infernal Soul, OMG, you have all the points, you have everything in your favor. You just need to end it out right now.
Zeka was 200 HP away from taking that Baron away. He was just a little bit too early on that play. Goes in, uses a smite, but can't find the target. It really would have bought them a lot of chances into this game, but now let's watch again what happened right here. The Turbo Chem Tank coming in from Aki, making the chase down incredibly easy. Cold again finding 2 targets with the Infernal Dragon Soul. The kill potential here is just way too high, and we're not even going to see Zeka's close call with bringing this game back. It's just going to be OMG all the way.
5,000 gold lead, Infernal Soul, Elder in 3 minutes. You'll have the Baron for 2 more minutes, and you have pretty much summoners across the board for your team by the time that comes up. So that will probably, if they don't end it with the Baron, that will almost certainly be the last time we'll see this. But the thing is, in 3 minutes time, you will have aiming on 3 items. He will be a very relevant force. You will have a death cap onto Zeka, who is just kind of hitting with these paddle stars. All it takes is one. Biubiu sitting here on the backside. They're looking to try and catch somebody out. Aki finds him there. Biubiu goes in. They land the explosive cast. Oh, they got Eric, but he gets out. He gets the dash, and I got a bit excited there. That was a little scary, and they get themselves out. But OMG, they take down bot lane.
Really good attempt here from BLG. Unfortunately, Eric was on point with that one. He barely got CC'd for much at all, and now they're going in.
Yeah, they take down the tier 2 down in bot side. They take the tier 2 in the mid lane. You can see these paddle stars, they're starting to hurt. The trouble bubble's starting to be a bit more dangerous. Have to be so careful. And people are probably thinking, Penguin, they're 6,000 gold up. They've got Infernal Soul. They have Baron. Why are you so worried? Because I've seen the LPL and I've seen people throw before, okay? It's never over until it's over. So right now, I just want OMG to cross their T's, dot their I's, and get this win as clean as possible.
You know, I really like the point that you constantly been hitting on for Zeka. The thing is that OMG just don't have a way to deal with him. They don't have the range advantage, and they're not really great at chasing down the Twilight aspect right here. Like, he really has free reign. So when we come into that Elder Dragon team fight, there are a lot of things that could actually go wrong. If they find the poke onto them first, OMG has to back out of the pit, and maybe BLG can find the surprise win. You know, I was talking to Jordan Lyric a couple days ago about the biggest throw that we've seen in the LPL so far. EDG V5 come to mind, and also Thunder Talk and E-Stars come to mind. And both of them had a lot to do with snatching victory, snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. Anything is possible right here.
Yeah, there is. And yeah, look, this is what I was talking about. You're very, very close to Rabadon's. There's 48 seconds until this Elder Drake spawns. You haven't been able to crack the base. You still have inhibitor turrets. They are putting down so much goddamn vision here. It's going to be a massive ordeal for the side of BLG to just sweep out every single bit of information the side of OMG have gotten. But they've gotten all this information, and if they lose it now, it's still a bit early. New pushing in this bot side. I like that from him. Let's have a quick look at the items. He's on 3 items. He's finished up his round in Omen. You've got the I'm going to stop myself. We might have a little bit of a fight. No, they all back away. You've got the Dead Man's Plate here for the Udyr with the Chem Tag, so he's going to be very, very fast. All the summoners are available. Cole goes in. He lands onto one. There's the hero's entrance. They're going to try and go for this one. They have got the explosive cast. It only lands down onto Aki. He is not the person you want to be hitting. Meteor being chased away from this fight is a double kill here for Wuming. They don't need the Elder Drake. They can go for the win right here, right now. They just need to be careful of the damage from Zeka, but I don't think he can get in on this.
Oh my god, this is a very underdramatic version of the uncrowned are finally going to become kings here as OMG, they find the numbers advantage. It's a 5v3 right now. Unless Zeka can pull off the unimaginable, OMG are going to find their first win of the split right before the new year.
Here we go. They jump in. Aki trying to find aiming. He knows he's the consistent DPS, but they flash in. Jwei just find the hook. They have the damage. There goes Aki. They fall him down. There's two people dead. They're trying to find him. It's Samira now. It's 3v2. This is a very different... Ooh, had the cleanse. I saw the triple bubble animation going down. These are the paddle stars. They can't end the game. And now they've no jungler. They have no way of contesting this Elder Drake. They need to try and run for it straight away.
My mistake right there. It was actually cold going down. It is going to be the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Can they find the target? They do it!
Eric! President is down! The president is dead! And now New trying to kill off Amy. He will get the kill. Zeka is here. This is all on New. He needs to be the raid boss. He needs to be able to kill off Meteor. I don't know if they're going to have the damage, though. And that is huge for BLG. They can't quite get the dragon, though, as here comes Wuming on top of Meteor, who's just trying to try and keep himself alive. Does use the collateral damage, and this game is not over just yet. Clement Meteor is dead, and now OMG.
But round 3 is coming in.
Drake. But round 3, fight Biubiu, a new challenger, but he says, no, I do not care anymore. He backs himself away. I'm going to take a breath. You take it from here.
Oh, that was so goddamn close. OMG tried to go for the finishing blow right there, but they got stuck in a skirmish right outside of the tower, so weren't actually able to close in on the 5v3. They lose members pretty early on, and then with Eric going down, it all kind of went topsy-turvy here, but they still have the smite advantage here. Meteor's not on the map. They should be able to secure this one, and, you know, when the dust settles, they got what they came here for. They did find everything they need, and it looks like BLG are going to try and make it, and force them to make split decisions here. They actually teleport top in threat, trying to threaten the Baron.
The Elder Drake has fallen. Eric is here, and now OMG moving towards this mid lane. They've got super minions coming out. There's a good blue trinket to see where everybody is sitting. Aki hit by the trouble bubble, but is fast enough to get himself out. This is it was a good idea from the side of from BLG. OMG, though, they do get the Elder Drake. They should be able to pick up this Baron, no problem whatsoever. They've got the GA now onto Eric. No summoners onto him for a little bit, so we might see a little bit more of a tempered aggression coming in here. The waves are in favor of BLG, so they're going to have to try and sort them out first before they look to try and end this game.
Yep, OMG is running a very low range composition, and this is why BLG is able to get so much poke onto them when they know where they are. So, you know, if I'm OMG, I'm going to feel very, very hesitant about full-on engaging onto this team fight. What I'm looking for is... You know, Aki goes and takes a bunch of damage. I would actually prefer to look for a little bit more of a side lane controlled split push coming into the bottom side, but they want to close it just right now.
They want the fight. Here we go. They're going to jump in straight away. They're going to get a two-man knock-up. There goes Biubiu. There goes Jwei. They do lose Rel in the process, but no one able to get on top of Eric. Eric taking both turrets aggro, though, so brings him down. They're going to go in with the killer instinct. He's going to try and go for something here. Eric will not fall, though, and this should be the game for OMG. They have finally done it. The monkey's off their back. They will take their first series win in the spring split of 2021.